To talk more about this report on policing is Cathy Schneider. She is an American University professor and the author of Police Power and Race Riots. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you.
It's so peculiar, the timing, that this would happen, then this report would be released. Talk to me about your thoughts about the report itself, and perhaps amplify on this particular case and your thoughts on it.
Okay, so about this case, I had several thoughts. First of all, a huge percentage of people killed by police have mental illness of some sort. And police should be trained to deal with mental illness. This is an issue that they confront daily. And so there is no reason that 5 police officers should be unable to deal with one unarmed, mentally ill man. I can't understand quite what the training was that they allowed him to take their gun. That seems certainly a problem with training. So we really should have officers learning how to deal with the mentally ill. This second thing is that it could have been any day, because we have police killing unarmed people every day. And so this occurred, and we had the report come out. Last week, it would have been somebody else who was killed by police in another city. It is a nationwide problem, and certain communities are more vulnerable than others. So poor minorities are more vulnerable than white middle-class neighborhoods. People with mental illness or homeless are more vulnerable than those people who have homes and stability. The report is, I haven't read the whole report. I heard the press conference, and I've read some of the preliminary reports on the report.
Is it a good step forward in your thoughts?
Well, it is a step forward. Interestingly, when I was looking for the report, I came across the 1967 report, which came out after the Kerner Commission on Civil Disorders, which was a brilliant report. So there's not...
So your point is that reports come out, but not necessarily are they acted upon.
Right. Now, some of the findings of the 67 report were acted on in some cities. New York at the time. So New York had no civil disturbances in 1968 because Mayor Lindsay was vice chair of the Kerner Commission and implemented a lot of those findings. When he went out, so did those findings. So cities have to have a will. So in the United States, policing is local. And the problem is trying to take a national stance and pursue a national policy when there has to be local will. So voters have to consider it important enough that the candidate who runs for mayor says, I'm going to make sure my police do not use lethal force against unarmed people, that my police treat all people in the city equally.
Well, I think if it was a police officer sitting
Right.
here, I'm sure they would say, in the case of Michael Brown, Eric Gardner, this case,
Right.
all 3 of them resisted arrest. If they'd all just gone along with it, this never would have happened. In this case, I mean, the police officer's revolver was taken away
Well,
from him.
in these cases, but Tamir Rice, who was 12-year-old and was playing with a toy gun, or Akai Gurley in Brooklyn, who was just walking his girlfriend home and was in the stairwell when a police officer was walking around with a gun and ricocheted his bullet against it. Many of these killings are not resistance, and there is also evidence that sometimes after police kill someone, they accuse them of resisting arrest. So,
let me ask you about the body cameras, because this report didn't
Right.
go in that direction. 2 of these police officers actually had body cameras,
Right.
which investigators say will be very helpful in determining exactly what went down.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on that?
okay, so the jury's out on body cameras. In Rialto, California, there was a sharp decline in accusations of police violence, complaints. It seemed to work. Albuquerque, New Mexico, didn't seem to work at all. The police can decide whether to film or not to film. We don't have really good rules about when the police should be filming and where that film should be stored. So absent a serious reform coming from the political leadership that says what we want from our police is for them to treat all of our citizens respectfully, and that lethal violence should be used in very rare circumstances, which is, by the way, what Mayor Lindsay told his police in 1968.
Well, that's a long time ago, but
Yeah.
we're still talking about it. Thank you for coming in, Cathy Schneider.
Okay, thank you.